am here with
Dave from Rampant Wolf Games.
And we are doing something that I've been trying to do for a while.
Yep.
I said we should do it, and then COVID happened, and 2 years passed. And this is starting our list with top 100 games that we believe, in my humble opinion, the top 100 games of all time.
Yep.
This is not
That we've played.
Yes, this is not some arbitrary thing of the top 100 games. We have declared it on the altar. No one shall object to our decision. No, this is the 100 games that I like playing.
And for example, again, it has to be something we played. So, for example, while I have this, I haven't played it, so I can't say whether or not it's good.
Yes, and for example, so if you look at the top 100 on Board Game Geek, I played a lot of them. Some of them deserve to be on the list, and some of them don't. And some of them I haven't played.
You know, I took the top 100 the other day, and I think I only like 30 out of the top 100, maybe less.
100 through 90. We're starting at 100 and working our way down to 90. If we go through 10 to 90, that's going to be 4 hours. It's a marathon. We'll be here all night.
And nobody would watch it.
All right, so let's starting with this top 100. Let's go for this. Cutting paper at the first one. This has been tricky for me. I was not expecting, when I started cutting things out of this list, I did not expect this game to survive. So this is one of those situations where I'm like, really? This made it? And in retrospect, if I really looked at it, I went, you know what? Maybe Takenoko could move up. I think I'm just tired of Takenoko because it's the new Catan for a lot of people. You bring new people to the group, oh, let's play Takenoko. I'm like, oh.
I don't have Takenoko.
I'm surprised we didn't get the big box version of Takenoko, where everything's twice the size.
Yeah.
But I was, oddly enough, I was interviewing, here, like name dropping, I was interviewing Ignacio Trevesniuk, which I can't pronounce. I can pronounce the first half of his name, not his last half of his name. I was interviewing them for the GMS podcast, and I talked about Ignacio has two types of games. He has simplistic, open story-based games, detective, and so forth, where it's all about story and plot. Mm-hmm. Then he has games where you're banging your head against this dense manual, but once you get through it, generally it's going to be a really good game. Mm-hmm. This one is a game that I always seem to enjoy because of what it does. My wife always had problems grogging the game. It's called Alien Artifacts.
Never played it.
Alien Artifacts is a 4X game that's entirely card-based. No board, no map, no minis. And as a result, because it has to be full-on 4X, it does a pretty good job. Like basically, every single card has two different applications, right? So it's generally going to be exploit or exterminate. You can make a ship, you can make it a combat ship, or you can have a small survey ship. But you can choose how you want to do it. Is this going to be a combat ship and so forth? There's very little interact. I like the fact that you don't have to constantly engage the other players. As a two-player game, you can engage the alien artifacts, which allows you to get specific items. Mm-hmm. I like how resources work. I think it's an inventive game that played with the idea of a 4X game and did it entirely card based. I think Ignacio made a challenge for himself. He's like, I like 4X games. It'd be neat. Someone made a entirely card based 4X game, and he did it. It's a unique game. Like one thing I'll say about him is just like, this game is exactly like this, or this game is exactly like this. We see so many games that are mechanically like it. There is nothing like Alien Artifacts. It is an entirely unique beast. And for that, I gave, succeed or fail, I give him credit for it. Unfortunately, it's out of our list now because my wife is just like, it's too hard for her to wrap her brain around.
Yep.
So that's my number 100 Alien Artifacts.
My number 100 is going to still get hate, which is Scythe. So
all the way at 100? It's going to be a while before you see that on my list. Good Lord, man. I mean, this is when it's a top 100. It's a good game, but wow.
For me,
I don't want to say why you like it. Why don't you like it?
It is just such a dense game, and every time I've played it, I have not found myself enjoying it. I find myself just going through the motions, and it's just like, yeah, I guess I'll go here and I'll do this. Oh yeah,
I still get joy out of it. I still love the fact. The only issue I have with it is playing with analysis paralysis players. Because for me, there's certain games like we're talking about Calico. And the reason I dislike Calico is that you cannot plan two moves ahead. You basically plan one move. The one you have and then you decide what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Aside if you can play 4 moves ahead, and I'll think 4 moves ahead, and players can't really mess with those 4 moves ahead. But it gets annoying when you have a player that can't think 4 moves ahead, so they take 5 minutes to run their turn, and you go, all right, I'm done, on to you. And sometimes I'm in situations where, well, it's almost back to my turn, and no one can stop what I'm doing, so I'm just going to do my turn now. Okay, Chris, I'm done. Nicole, like, already, like, I'm prepared. I know how to play this game. And we got all the expansions now, so.
Yeah, so that's because it's for my wife. It's her game, not mine.
She likes Scythe?
Yeah. So that's my number 100, Scythe.
My number 99, I wouldn't be surprised if this game ended up getting demoted, because it is an old school game that's probably close to becoming obsolete. But of the games that followed this formula, it is probably still the last remaining good one. And it's a cooperative game called Dead Men Tell No Tales.
It's a good game, actually.
This is top 100. It should be a good game. So Dead Men Tell No Tales is a cooperative game that follows the same formula of a lot of cooperative games made around the pandemic era. A lot of them play with the idea of you have a turn, then the game makes things worse. The next person has a turn, and the game makes things worse. It's you take 1 step forward, the game takes 2 steps back, and you have to try to get out before you get pushed out.
Yep.
That's the pandemic formula. You can name 50 games, cooperative games.
Yep.
They don't do that much. Everyone nowadays is trying to find ways to work around that mentality, try to do things that's not always feeling like that. But in the beginning of the cooperative era, with games like Pandemic, everyone was just like, we'll just do it like that. And Dead Men Tell No Tales is one of them. You're on a pirate ship that is destroying itself.
Yep.
The skeletons are popping out of the woodwork, and you have to try to get as much booty as you can and escape before it gets destroyed. I have played the game 3 times. I have lost twice and won once. And I still will say, lose or win, we enjoyed the experience. Unlike Pandemic, where if you lose, sometimes you're like, oh, that was a giant waste of time. Dead Men Tell No Tales has enough of a narrative angle where you can still enjoy the experience of losing.
The problem I have with Pandemic is that the way it's structured and the way it plays out, it's just like, oh, my friend was standing behind you and I pushed you over him. Now you fall on your butt. Oh, and because that happened, you also crack your head open and now you're bleeding. Oh, and because that also happened, you got flesh-eating disease. Oh, and because that happened, you also got a heart arrhythmia. That's what Pandemic feels like. It's just like, especially when the outbreaks chain, it's just like whack, 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 and it's just like, okay, enough.
Like I said, and Dead Men Tell No Tales have the same thing, where you're mitigating the fire and you can't let a fire blow up out of control. So you're trying to control that while trying to deal with skeletons and open the treasure and so forth. But I just feel that it's just a bit more of a narrative game, so it's a bit more of an enjoyable experience. So if you are losing, you can just go, well, we had fun. That's the same reason why I like a certain other game, which I won't mention, because I won't mention it for a while. Because win or lose, it's an enjoy. I actually played this game I mentioned just recently, and I've never lost as badly as I did. But it was a situation where I'm like, well, we're all dead, but it was fun. But it's one of those situations where you lost so badly, you almost got a laugh out of it. It's like, well, yep. Everything that went wrong, went wrong. So that's my number 99, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I'd like to get the Kraken expansion. Let's see what that's like.
I think I have it. I can't remember.
I didn't back it on Kickstarter.
Oh, probably then I don't have it, yeah. My 99 is going to come in as Spectre Ops.
Wow.
Which is nice little hidden movement game, and you could either do the Broken Covenant one or the original. Both are good. Excellent hidden movement game. I was raised on hidden movement games. My first ever was Scotland Yard. So, yeah,
I have played very few hidden movement games.
Oh, I love hidden movement games. My wife hates them though. But yeah, no. So for me, I love hidden movement games because it just something about it is fun. I don't know, for me, can't explain it. Just I guess it's being able to get that one over on someone else, or having that sneaking away just at the last second. And someone be like, I thought I had you there, and it's just, actually you did. If you had just gone this way, you would have had me. So that's my number 99, Spectre Ops.
All right. My number 98 is a game that my wife still hasn't decided whether or not she likes or not, but I enjoy it. It's one of the many examples of a cooperative
semi-co-op.
Well, my game's a fully co-op
Oh, okay.
deck builder, and that's called Aeon's End.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
Aeon's End is yeah, there's been so much, and I know there was a legacy version that came out. I have not tried any of those. I'm just talking about the core version of Aeon's End. I think the one rule my wife never could get around is the randomized turn order every single time to start the game. Because you might go first, or I might go first, or the creature might go first, and then you go, and then the creature goes, or maybe the creature goes twice, and then you guys go. She never really could get around that. She felt it was just an unnecessary mechanic. But I think we enjoyed the game otherwise. For what that is. I like some of the things it does. I like the fact that you don't lose your hand. The games, any cards you keep in your hand, you can just keep, and you can draw cards to fill up your hand, so you're more effective next turn. It's once again a cooperative deck builder. I think once again, unless you have some other mechanic that plays off of like we see with Dune, deck building really goes well with co-op.
Yeah, the only thing that's quite different with Aeon's End versus a lot of the other deck builders is you don't shuffle your deck.
Yeah, goes down the way it comes up.
Yeah, exactly. So my number 98 is an old one, but I still find this one good, but it's good if you want to really piss off people. Because this game is definitely rage quit worthy sometimes, and that's Spartacus Game of Blood and Treachery. You ever heard of Spartacus?
No, I've heard of Spartacus.
Yeah.
I just didn't think you'd mention it.
Oh yeah, no, it's coming in at 98. I have had a lot of fun playing this game, but the second it goes to the arena, all bets are off. Everyone just gets nasty. And I have seen lots of games just get downright vicious at that point. But that's the whole point, really, I guess. But yeah, I can't say anybody's rage quit, but they've come close. Because it's just like, are you kidding me? Because, of course, if you're doing well enough, you always send in the weaker houses, because it's just how it is. You got to get rid of them. Can't let them come back and stab you. So that's my number 98, Spartacus, A Game of Blood and Treachery.
My 97 is a game that I'm expecting to see on your list at some point. It is a deck builder again, but it does things completely different than the previous entry. And it is a very good version of this formula, even though, once again, it is no longer in our... Actually, no, it is in our collection still. That's Xenoshift Onslaught.
Ah, yes.
Or Dreadmire. This is all the same freaking game anyway. Dreadmire, I think, has a few better rules, but at the end of the day, they're basically the same.
It's somewhere between 160. I can't remember where.
It's somewhere in there.
It's somewhere.
Xenoshift Onslaught or Xenoshift Dreadmire takes the Dominion formula and makes it cooperative. So you have static decks of cards that you only have access to. There's no flop of 5. And so you have a randomness you have with your hand, not the randomness with the flop, and you have to try to play with it. I like the fact that if you survive the first the first round with some measure of success, you have a leg up because everything carries over. I enjoy that. I definitely enjoy the fact that you can play cards in other people's areas to improve their chances of winning. So it has a heavy cooperative element.
Yep.
And I like the way the factions built themselves. And it is, like I said, we had mentioned this in our Halloween game, especially. I think you mentioned it because nothing's more frightening than pulling a card and finding it being one of the bosses. Yeah. And whether or not you're actually prepared to deal with that sort of thing. Yep. So yeah, I think it was an unexpected game to pop on this list. It's not the only deck builders. There's actually quite a few on here, but that's probably one of my favorite cooperative deck builders, and that is Xenoshift, Dreadmire, or Onslaught. Yeah, actually, I just realized, obviously, it's not in the current ones I can see right now, so it's somewhere between 80 and 60, so that's pretty decent. Exactly, it's just got some carryover. Yeah. So that was number 97. So my number 97 is Space Cadets by Stronghold Games. I only say that because I can remember who made it. It's an interesting game. Is that the time game? It's the one where it has all the different mini games. Oh, right. Yes. And they actually took it one step further, and I wish I had ever got it to the table, but there's basically a team versus team version implemented of the game as well. But I haven't ever got that one to the table because, yeah, it just... To me, I found it so cool to have everyone having their own little mini game that they play and how that works out, because it's basically like 7 games in one for everybody. Isn't that also kind of like, because I had something playing with that, but U-Boot also kind of plays with the idea? Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I like that. It's a neat idea. I haven't played it yet, but it seems like a neat idea. Yeah, they also have one called Away Missions. I can't remember how that one works, but I think it works with some of the same idea as well. So, but again, it's just... For now, because of the pandemic, it's hard to get that many people together. So Does it play with more groups, or do you need a large group to play?
You need about 6 or 7 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I don't have it.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. So that was number 97, Space Cadets.
96. You're going to love this one.
Okay.
Because once again, when you collate this list, I'm like, okay. I guess that's where it's going to go.
Yep.
The fact that it's even on the list. I mean, people are going to go, oh my God, why isn't this in the top 20? And then my response is, trust me, folks, you should be happy it's in the top 100.
Gloomhaven.
No, Gloomhaven way higher. Wingspan.
Ooh.
Wingspan's at 96. At the end of the day, I have to give it credit. My wife does like the game. And I think my issue
So
with
does mine.
I think my issue with the game initially is that unless you know exactly how to play the game, you may not be aware of the certain strategies of winning the game.
Yep.
So if you go in and you're not 100% sure of the 9 different ways that you can score points, then you might go in going, well, this is not important to me, so I'm not going to work on this strategy, not realizing that was a viable strategy that could have won you the game. I think it does get way too much credit for what it is. I think in the Stonemaier catalog, it is not even in my top 3. There are other games I would put higher on the list, as you will soon find out. But Wingspan is still, I mean, it's one of those situations where if someone brings it to the table, I'm not going to go, no, I will not play this game, sir. I mean, it's not like...
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest problem with Wingspan is I just have zero interest in the theme. I mean, I played another game recently.
Wingspan with jet planes.
Well, no, I played another game recently with butterflies.
Yeah, with that game...
What's that one called?
Mariposa.
Is that what it is?
Is it the same designer?
Moving the butterflies around in groups and stuff, and then scoring combinations and stuff.
Well, I know about because there's actually, this is a crazy thing, there's 3 different butterfly games that came out within a year.
Yeah.
But the most popular and the most
I don't think it's Mariposa.
Was Mariposa, coincidentally the same designer as Wingspan.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Mariposa. It's a different one, I think.
One's called it's a sentence like, and then there's wings or so forth. And there's
that's the one. Yeah, butterfly on wings. Yeah. That
there's another one where you're actually clipping the butterflies to 3D.
No.
Which
it's the other one with the long name that you were just said. That's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because Mariposa sucks ass.
Yeah. No, the other one we played...
Even my wife didn't care for that game.
Yeah, we played the other one in the Board Game Cafe, Maple's Milkshakes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a good game, but it didn't warrant us picking up. It was like my wife liked it, I liked it, but it wasn't good enough to make the cut, which, if you could see this room, that says a lot, because there's like 500 games in here, so... if your game doesn't make the cut of the 500, that says a lot for me. I'm sorry, but yes, for me. I mean, no, that's very vain.
Spoilers: you will not see Wingspan on Dave's list.
No, it's going to be on there, but it's probably higher than it, because the problem is the way.
Wait a second, you just talked about how much you didn't care for Wingspan. You won't go to the table. How can it be in your top 100?
Probably. Maybe it's not. I think it may be. If I did it right, it probably won't be because. Yeah, it probably won't be.
Like I said, for me, it's like my wife should just be happy that Wingspan's on the top 100.
Yeah,
like it's better than Takanoko, which in retrospect, maybe Takanoko should be on the list. Like if it was going to bump anything off, it would bump one of those 5.
Yeah, see, the spreadsheet I used had her ranking and my ranking, and then I did.
My wife's top 100 games would be.
So if I did it properly when I sorted it, it should be good. If I didn't, then it might be on the list.
The irony of this is that we did a previous video where we tried to guess our wife's favorite game, and we've shown that I love my wife and my wife loves me because we have a better relationship because I was able to predict her game is better than yours did. But anyway, that's my number 96, Wingspan.
My number 96 by Orange Nebula is Photosynthesis. Interesting game. I give them credit for the mechanic, what they were trying to achieve. I hate the storage solution.
Oh yeah, it doesn't.
And the box in the actual game.
That cannot be a money.
That game will frustrate me to no end. That's why it's so far down because, you're just like, good placement, got lots of sun, and then someone's just like, big old tree blocking, and it's like,
It's not even in my top 200.
It's got a very, very subtle take that, and it annoys me.
Yeah, it's a neat idea, and we were originally appealed to the idea of growing trees and placing trees and causing shadows, and then we realized how much it screws people over. Yeah, there's two nature-based games that we both were looking forward to getting, and we're both disappointed: Photosynthesis and Petrichor.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't played that one.
Neither of which are in my top 100. 95, I'm going to make a statement that this is completely divorced from any statements that its creator has made. I'm talking about the game for the game's sake. But the reason thinking, of course, is that my number 5 is Tzolk'in, Mayan calendar, which, in retrospect, probably is going to end up getting higher.
Funny,
but Tzolk'in is a fun game. The gear mechanic is really cool. Yeah. I love it. Once again, a completely unique mechanic. I give it to Dave Taschini. He's got a neat idea. And the production design of having these intermission gears, the longer these gears stay out, the more, and you rotate this big gear, which rotates all the others and makes them. I think it's a really good idea. I think the only issue is that, God knows I love the paintings people have done when they painted their wheels. It'd be nice if it came painted like that, because it's a very drab, giant beige wheel that has a cool pattern, but it's not painted, so it's always something I've always been reserved for. But Tzolk'in is just a great game. The only issue I have with Tzolk'in is that it's one of the more intractable games to try to teach people. So if I want to play Tzolk'in, I don't have half an hour to teach this game.
Yeah.
But that is my number 95, Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar. I don't know if Teotihuacan is on my list, but that's a damn good game as well.
Cool. So coming in at 95 for me is Tiny Epic Quest.
Ah.
It's one of the better Tiny Epic games.
It is.
I actually just have a lot of fun playing this game. Again, it's just one of those things, though. I would have preferred a game with a little bit bigger footprint, but I'll take it. It's got everything I need in a good travel game. That's pretty much all I...
That was my next
whenever someone's like, hey, you want to play a game? I never will bring a Tiny Epic game to the table to play. But if I'm traveling, it goes in the bag.
Which is funny, because I have it rated just below Tiny Epic Galaxies, which I think is the best travel game.
Yeah, that's my number 95, Tiny Epic Quest.
94 for me is a game I really quite enjoy, and that is Tokaido. Tokaido is part of this new generation of games I really like, which is you can advance as far as you want. You just can't go back, and I like that idea, and it's been replicated in quite a number of games.
That's the Japanese adventure. Oh yeah, I love that game.
Yeah, Japanese Road, where you can move forward but cannot move back, and you're trying to gain set collections. Have a pleasant experience. And Elvino does this. We just played a game, Parks, which is a really good game. Parks uses the same formula. There's actually quite a few games now we played.
It's really hard to get Parks.
I managed to squeeze. Yeah,
it's hard.
It's also really expensive for its box size.
Yeah,
then you look
really
inside and you realize, oh, that's why, because it's got Noah Aldman's face all over it. It's a fun game. I know that there was a big box version of that came out. It's really high production value, and obviously it was very inspirational because the game I designed, Naramata, is a spiritual successor to that title because it borrows a lot of the same.
Oh, we're talking about Tokaido, yeah.
I absolutely love Tokaido, but the irony, of course, is that I'll never play it because I designed a game that is thematically very, very similar. So anytime we want to play it, we're just going to plaque out my game instead. But it does deserve its list, and I obviously not going to put my own game on here, so Tokaido gets to be number 94.
All right, my number 94 is a game that was talked about so much, but is definitely recently, I feel, has kind of gone quiet. Nobody really talks about it until they put out another rebranded IP version of it, and then it's talked about for a couple of minutes, and then everybody moves on, and that's Small World.
Really?
Yeah. So that's my number 94, Small World, because I've even got the World of Warcraft one, which I think is the most recent rebranded version of it, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it's one that people only talk about when they release a new rebranded version of it. But it was so popular back during the Will Wheaton tabletop resurgence of the genre.
Did they do small? Yes, they did.
They did. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my number 94, Small Worlds.
So the coincidence of bringing up Will Wheaton and tabletop, I have my number, which I put with 1994, 93. We're 93.
Mm-hmm.
93 is very similar to on the same time period. It's called. Wait a minute, I realized you don't like this game, or maybe you do. I know there's a story behind it. Stone Age.
Yeah, I don't like that game.
I've gotten over the randomness to it, but it is like I said, it is a classic game. It came from that kind of second renaissance after the first renaissance with Catan and Alhambra. It was kind of that second generation. It's neat. It has a lot of stuff you can do. I got the game relatively cheap. I enjoy it quite a bit, and there's not much to say about that because it's Stone Age. It's a classic game. I can't remember why you hate it. You bought like the Uber edition, didn't you?
Yeah, I've got like the winter and all that, or the anniversary edition. It's like right there. Yeah, I didn't like it because there was just a lot of times where you just spend so many turns just trying to get food and build your village, and worker placement games unless I can sink my teeth into it quickly, I don't like the grindy ones.
Okay.
So, we're 94 or 93?
93.
93 is one that a lot of people don't really talk about, but is a really good game. I'm sad that it ended up where it did on my list, but that's just the way it breaks. So, Post-Human.
No!
Yeah. Not Post-Human Saga.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if Post-Human Saga ends up where it actually ended up. But yeah, Post-Human ended up in 93. We still have to do our review of a Post-Human Saga because they gave us a copy of the game. Okay. So, but yeah, so Post-Human, and I don't know, it just felt like it was Mighty Box Games, I think is what is it? Mighty Box or Mighty Board Games? I don't know. Can't remember the branding or the publisher, but it's a good post-apocalyptic game. It offers a lot of replayability. There's a lot in the box. The components are pretty decent. And it doesn't, for what it is and how much it is, it doesn't take up much table space because the tiles are like the Carcassonne tiles. That's how big they are.
Yeah. So
you're not taking up a huge amount of your table to play a really involved game, which I like. So that's my number 93, Post-Human.
92 for me is another deck builder. But once again, it's a deck builder that I like the way it's built. I like the way it's one of the ones that's kind of uses the classic formula, but it works a bit better. And I really enjoy the scientific element.
Okay.
And it's Subatomic.
Yeah, I haven't played that one yet, but I think
it's a nice small box game. Your basic deck is electrons and protons and neutrons and so forth, and I think and then you basically are playing cards to assemble atoms, and then you use those to purchase things or build molecules, and then when you build that molecule, you can get additional points, and then eventually you can, claim these certain scientist cards for additional points, and it is one of the more enjoyable form of variations of that formula. I think I think it's. I'm looking at the list now. I should probably swap those two because I think it's better than Paperback, but Paperback shows up later. But ultimately, I'll leave it the way it is because those games are very much kissing cousins because they both have. Paperback is different in the fact that it requires your brain to work outside of the rules. Yeah. And Subatomic, you can work within the rules. Yeah. But it is one of the better small box deck building games out there, and that is Subatomic.
All right, so that was 92. Mm-hmm. My number 92 is Tiny Towns. Hard to really describe this game unless you've played it, but basically you're trying to build a little tiny town. It's basically it's like Tetris.
Slow it down there, Egghead. Yeah. Tiny town with tiny towns? That's crazy talk.
It's basically Tetris, really. It's a lot like Tetris because you're like, okay, I have this building. How do I fit that in there? And then okay, now I got a plan to put that build. Okay. Oh, dang, I screwed myself. So, yeah. So basically Tetris, 4-player I think you played 6. Can't remember. But yeah, basically Tetris. And yeah, so that comes in at 90, 92. I wish I could say more about it, but it's been a long time since I played that one.
My 91, and this is going to be an interesting one for me because I've discovered that like this format of game can be really, really good. And it can also be really, really bad if you're not careful. And these are these storybook games that Red Raven?
Yeah.
That puts out. They put out a couple of these. And when it's done badly, like a certain game I won't mention, Comanauts, it's very bad. It's not very good. And sometimes it's okay, but not great, which is my Mystics. And then sometimes it's really fun, like Stuffed Fables. That's my number 91. Stuffed Fables. It is it's not a game that I should admit that I play with my wife, but she's also 12 years old. I'm being sarcastic. She's not, obviously, but she acts like a baby. I know the fact that like right now she's at home playing Lego.
Something wrong with that.
I know there's an age difference between us, but she's not that young, folks. Anyway, but the point is the fact that she loves it. So adorable. Oh my god, I get to play the little stuffed animals, and we've never lost a game, so because it's played to be a bit easier, unlike Mice and Mystics, which was way too hard for the kids to try and sell itself to. But it is super little fun. You're playing these stuffed animals. We're playing 2 characters each, and we're going through, and there's this wonderful, delightful little story, and it's adorable, and the way they play with the dice mechanic is really, really nice. They tried to play with that formula and make it more complex than Comanauts and completely screwed up. But Stuffed Fables is the perfect melding of that idea. Because Stuffed Fables and Comanauts have virtually identical core mechanics. Mm-hmm. And it's surprising how well it works in Stuffed Fables and how badly it works in Comanauts.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking with Comanauts, but Stuffed Fables is an adorable storybook game. We've done like 3 missions. We enjoy the heck out of it. And once in a while, we're like, let's have some fun. Let's play Stuffed Fables. Let's whip it out and have some fun. And yeah, it's not, and funny thing enough, as a bit of a spoiler, another game using that exact same formula pops up later on this list. And the process of elimination, there haven't been very many, and I've already talked about the other 2 not being on this list, so you should be able to know what the other one is. But that's my number 1 stuffed, 91 stuffed FABLES.
All right, my number 91 is really actually a placeholder for a whole series of games.
Oh, yeah, I'll allow it. I've done that. There's one of mine on the list that's a placeholder for everything. When you think with the top 100, you could put a whole franchise in one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, number 92 is Carcassonne, number 89 is Carcassonne, number 88 is Carcassonne, number 87 is Carcassonne. Like, no, Carcassonne, 1, done, move on.
Yeah, exactly. This one is Flux.
Oh. Well, that is a big series of games.
Yeah. So this one actually is Firefly Flux, but yeah, any of the Fluxes.
There's one exception. I would put the Alien Legendary and then Legendary because they're different enough games that you put them on different lists.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's just an interesting game. It definitely has a lot of take that mechanic because you're going good, you're getting yourself set up, and then someone plays something completely changes all the rules, and it's just like, all right, that's how this is going to be then. So that's my number 91 Flux.
So that was our first 10.
Don't we have to go to 90?
No, it's a 0 because we start with 100. If you go to 90, we're doing 11, right? You always start with 10. So now 1 is the list, where the last list would be like there's no 0 game.
Right.
So yeah, that's it. That is our top 100 from 100 to 91. From this point on, I will guarantee that the games get really good. And more controversial.
Maybe.
Oh, no, I'm going to piss some people off.
All right.
Anyway, this has been Chris.
And then Dave.
And remember, the rules are just a
suggestion.
Play the game the way you want to play it.
There you go. And we're out.